So what is your name?
Anthony Dimitriou
Okay. And where were you born?
in Nixia,
Okay. And where do you live now?
in Nixia.
Okay. And what is your occupation?
Um, I, I was a businessman. I retired last month.
Okay. And what did you do up until you retired?
Distributing agricultural machinery, industrial machinery, motor cars, running a small family business basically in Cyprus.
Okay. And what do you do now that you're retired?
Well, it's only been a month, so I'm still going into work.
Okay. Very good. So tell me the story of the division of Cyprus. When did it happen and how?
Right. The real physical division of Cyprus happened in 1974 when there was a Greek Cypriot coup against the government backed by the Greek junta in Greece. And because the Turkey was a guarantor power, one of the guarantor powers in Cyprus, they invaded to restore the democracy as it existed before. They had the right to intervene to restore. That's when the real division occurred. But when the Turkish army invaded, democracy was not restored. The island became divided since 1974.
Okay. So are the people on the other side of the wall, the green line, are they your friends or your enemies?
No, definitely friends. Definitely friends.
And what is the biggest difference between people on this side and people on the other side?
I don't think there's any difference. The only difference is our politicians who have opposite views.
Okay. Who is your favorite person on the other side?
Politician.
Any person.
Though I was born in Nicosia, I was raised in Famagusta, which I lost my home in Famagusta. One of my favorite Turkish Cypriot friends, who is a friend of mine, two of them. One is who is actually now living in my old house in Famagusta. We became very good friends. And the other one, who is renting the second house in Famagusta from the Turkish government. And he's using it as a restaurant. Again, he's a very good friend. So basically, the two houses I lost, the now owners are extremely good friends of mine.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay. Does your country's leadership, the Republic of Cyprus, support the division, and why or why not?
I think on the whole, the division has been supported by consecutive governments through the years. For many, many reasons, but I don't think our government has done enough to unify the two sides.
Okay. What do you think are the reasons why they don't support it, or they support the division?
There are many reasons, but I would think the first and foremost is that personal interests, economic interests. After 1974, many Greek Cypriots became entrenched and became economically rich, and I think it would be to their disadvantage if there was any kind of solution. And many of the politicians have economic benefits, personal.
Okay. What about their leadership? Does their leadership support the wall, and why?
The Turkish Cypriot leadership?
Yes.
I think the Turkish Cypriot leadership wants a solution more than the Greek Cypriot leadership. Probably one of the great reasons is that the Turkish Cypriot people, because they are not internationally recognized as a state, only Turkey recognizes north of Cyprus. They have more difficulty in communications, importing goods, making their life more expensive, more difficult. For example, they can't travel to Europe on direct flights. Ships cannot land in North Cyprus without first docking in Turkey. So they have economic difficulties.
Do they ever seek more diplomatic recognition beyond Turkey?
Yes, they are seeking more recognition in various bodies, but no recognized country has so far recognized them. I don't know why, but they haven't yet.
Okay, okay. What does the North have to gain by a resolution of the problem?
Well, it's not only the North that has to gain, it's also the South. I mean, we're small enough, and it's a shame that we were divided in the first place. And can you imagine the two communities working for the common good? How good it would be. I mean, I don't see why we fight against each other, and why we can't work together.
Okay. So I'm interested in specifically what they have to gain, and then specifically what the South has to gain. What do you think? Like just the North, let's say, take them first, for example. How would they benefit from some kind of a resolution?
Well, economically, the North will gain a tremendous economic advantage because all the businesses, the people can actually have direct contact with the outside world. There'll be a recognised government. The Cyprus will be a recognised government, and it'll be just like living in any other European state without any kind of division.
Okay. And what does the South have to gain by resolution?
Again, the same thing. We're okay, Jack, at the moment. We're doing quite well economically, where we have been until the crisis 3 years ago. But why are we spending all this money on armaments? Why are we spending all this money on fighting a reunion when all these resources can be put to good use as a joint country?
Okay. How would your life change, or the life of, let's say, Greek Cypriots, if the wall was removed and there was no restrictions whatsoever?
Well, each side would be able to do business with the other side. For example, now manufacturing companies in the South Cyprus cannot sell goods to North Cyprus because one, there are barriers to trade like import duties on the border as goods go across, and the second is because the Cyprus government considers the whole of Cyprus as Cyprus, north and south. Any invoices issued by a manufacturer must include VAT, and that VAT is not able to be claimed back at the point of sale, as it would be if you export it to Europe. So that makes the goods immediately more expensive for the buyer. The seller will have to pay the VAT because he's selling to Cyprus, and that will make his costs up. So there's no incentive to sell.
Okay. Why has the problem not been resolved already?
Because Greeks and Turks have been traditional enemies for many centuries. There are many hotheads in our government, there are many hotheads in our population, there are many extremist views on the Greek side. There's also extremist views on the north side. But living in the south, I see the south, many political parties have extremist views, and we have dozens of political parties in this island, each expressing some niche view which is extreme, and that's not helping at all.
What are the positions of the extreme parties that are preventing resolution of the problem?
Well, without mentioning I mean, I would like to mention names of parties, but for example, we had a referendum for a reunification in 2004, and the president at the time of that party got on television on the eve of the referendum and with tears in his eyes recommended the people to vote against. So basically we had two leaders negotiating a settlement, and one of the leaders going on television on the eve of the referendum asking the people to vote against. So there are strange things that have happened that have prevented a solution.
Okay. So people from all over the world may be watching this video. What's the most important thing that they should know about what's happening in Cyprus now?
First, they should know that it's tragic that this island has been divided. It's a calamity of errors on both sides. There are extreme views on both sides of the divide. However, now it looks like the two leaders are talking on the same page. Both leaders want some kind of solution, and hopefully this time round, after so many near miss agreements in the past, hopefully we can get something done.
Do you have more optimism now than you have had in the past?
Frankly, I've seen so many solutions put on the table since 1974 that I would take it with a pinch of salt. I'm neither optimistic nor pessimistic. I'm just hoping this time both communities will come to their senses and sign some agreement to work together in the future.
Okay. I think that's all my questions.
Okay, thank you very much.